Alright, it's the Chronologically Gaming pre-show. Welcome everyone into Chronologically Gaming. We play every video game in order of release. Started playing the video games back in 1971, and we are currently in December 1982. And yes, Palpuck, bring on the quotes. I want them going the entire time. I already alluded to this previous episode, and everybody already knows. Everyone got it. And I may be a little premature, because I heard that Sinistar, some sources say 1983, but I know for sure it was at a trade show where you'd at least play it there, maybe not in full release or commercial release in all arcades. Howdy, Brad. Welcome in. Sound check. Test, test, test. Pleiades. Donkey Kong. Super Mario does not exist because it's December 1982. Yeah, video looks good. The Yojimbo, which we haven't seen yet, it's way later in the ZX Spectrum live. That's right. Yep. Palpuck, I'm going to have to let Sinistar talk for me. I am under the weather, but we're still doing the show live. I have something. Maybe it was Sinistar that gave it to me. But I'll let him be the one who is the deliverer of all the crazy loud lines. Welcome, welcome, Brian. Welcome in. Audio check's good. I'll probably be downing lots of water for this episode, but there is no stopping. The show must go on. We have to keep playing every video game in order of release. You bet, Marshall. Hey, welcome in, GSE Stream. Hi. I really want to make sure the audio levels of Sinistar are just right. So if we're playing and you think it's not loud enough or too loud, let me know. But yeah, I'm going to keep doing hydration so I don't lose my vocals. If you've been tuning in since the beginning, I'm not really familiar with doing podcasts or talking for a long time. I haven't done radio work professionally. I've done presentation work, but I have several times in the show had my voice completely go out. So it might be that case here. That's right, I got a frogger in my throat. I wouldn't mind a frogger in my throat. But now we just gotta test the Sinistar. Beware, I live. It's pretty good. Maybe it needs more bass. But it'll still be fun. I have really been looking forward to this, and I do attest, I'll say beginning of December 1982 is when Sinistar was released. To tell you the truth, most people haven't reached out to me about correcting dates and saying this date that we played the game was wrong. No one really has said anything, even though that's our thing. We're chronologically gaming. We want to do all the dates. Most people don't point it out. They don't say that was the wrong date, but you know what? I think it's because of the era we're in. It's all gray right now. There's not a whole lot that you could attest to this is when the game came out. But later, if I get it wrong, I'm sure, you know, in 1985 and after that, then more people will be saying that. Thanks, Marshall. Maybe I will do alternate universe chronologically gaming. Who's doing that right now? Isn't that 8-bit guy that's doing it? I've really been enjoying those too. Oh, are you talking about Fantastic Voyage? We played that on the Atari home computer and the Atari 2600. Right now, whoever's playing that game is inside me, fighting whatever it is that I got. I didn't think of it that way. That's too funny. There's been other ones we played. Microscopic Journey was another one. I was surprised at how many games that shrink you down to a tiny size to combat viruses or disease or something. Yeah, really fun. Especially right now, there's not a lot of vertical shoot-'em-ups. In fact, I think the Vanguard game, shoot-'em-up, and River Raid are the only ones that would really beat Fantastic Voyage, on the home console at least. Alright, we're still going to have some fun, though. Great show tonight. Everyone knows what the big game is, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it. Oh, yeah. Alright, showtime. Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. We started all the way back in 1971, and here we are, where all video gamers want to be. It's Christmas time in 1982.
Christmas wishes can come true at best with gifts specially tagged Best Wishes. The Pollenex Pure Water 99 water filter, sale priced at $17.94, helps remove chemicals, rust, and contaminants that may be in your water. The Deep Heat Feet Relief Foot Bath has thermostatically controlled heat and 2-speed massaging action for aching feet. Sale priced at $28.94. Net cost after Pollenex rebate, $23.94. And each Best Wishes purchase comes with free Gloria Vanderbilt wrapping paper. Best Wishes from Pollenex and Best.
And we don't want any of that. We just want the video games. Last time we played the latest Scott Adams graphic adventure game, and I wasn't kind enough. To put in perspective, this at this point in the show, we've played 233 text adventure games, text-only adventure games. We played 67, this is the 67th text adventure game with graphics, or it's basically a text adventure game and they got some pictures on there. On the Atari home computer, this was only the 14th video game that was a text adventure game with graphics. And so with that, I actually don't want to say this is just average. I still want to call these games above average, 3.5 stars. So a re-rating for Strange Odyssey. The last time we're going to see these enhanced remakes of these Scott Adams games. The last episode we saw Scramble on the Vectrex, and the very last game was Sid the Spellbinder for the Magnavox Odyssey 2. Here is our next video game release. And it is a monster of a game. It's a big one. This is Sinistar in the arcade. I am really excited, and I'm amazed that we got this far to see Sinistar. Let's take a look at some of the artwork we have for Sinistar. This is only available in the arcade. It's the 644th game we've seen in the arcades up to this point. There was a canceled Atari 2600 port of this version, and then later, way later, way beyond the scope of our show, there is going to be a release on the Atari 5200 and the Atari home computer, but we're never going to get that far. Now take a look at this ad. It's the 1983 forecast. It said Sinistar was introduced in the AMOA show, and some people say this is 1983 when it came out. Some people say December 1982. We're going to say beginning of December 1982 for Sinistar, but it shows the cabinets. Look at the options. We have Joust, by the way, over there. Love Joust. But then I wasn't aware of the cockpit Sinistar. I've only seen the upright Sinistar. And I got to get in the cockpit because I learned that the cockpit has stereo sound. But this advertisement right here already looks cutting edge. It looks incredible. And there we go. That's there's the example of the arcade cabinet for Sinistar. We got a few of these. Artwork is through the roof. It's beautiful. Looks fantastic. We got Williams emblazoned right on the front. This marks the 17th time we've seen Williams Electronics on Chronologically Gaming. This is their 13th arcade game, bringing us amazing games like Defender, Stargate, Splat, Bubbles, Moon Patrol, Robotron 2084, and Joust. The only thing that Williams has brought home up to this point is Defender. You can play it on the Atari 2600, the Atari 5200, and the Atari home computer, and the Intex Adventure Vision. It was an official port, but I don't know how many people played that one. There's a whole team of people that worked on this game, and some really good starts for developers that began this game. You flip over the advertisement flyer, and it brings up all the technical mumbo-jumbo that all the operators salivate over. We want to get to the game, though, but oh my gosh, look at that. Look at the cockpit cabinet. It is awesome. And what's really cool is they have the stereo speakers right behind your head. That is the way to play Sinistar. Did anyone play this one instead of the upright? Because I've only heard of it and seen the upright myself. It's incredible. And someone brings up, this game is hard as balls. Yes, it is. Sinistar wants to eat your quarters, literally. More examples of the arcade cabinet. The artwork is incredible. Very well done. Williams is in their element, bringing video games home. They've been doing it for a while now. All right, and there's the example of the arcade PCB and the control panel. Now, the buttons we use is not obviously as many as something like Defender, but the joystick's unique. It's not just a digital joystick. It's so many pins and precision of the joystick that it almost could classify as an analog joystick, but it's not. It is a very unique joystick and very special one. The controls are essentially you move around, you have a fire button, and you have a Cinnabomb button. There's the example of the arcade marquee for Sinistar. He already looks scary. Even on the marquee, it's incredible. It's so cool. And then we have some fan artwork. Everybody knows and loves Sinistar, especially if you went to the arcades right now, especially in 1983, when Sinistar was all over the place. You heard Sinistar. And if you're not familiar with Sinistar, I don't know why you're watching this show, but you will be introduced quite quickly. Here's the manual or operator or instruction manual for Sinistar. Now, this game was done by Noah Falstein, Richard Witt, Robert J. McCall, Samuel Dicker, and John Newcomer, just to name a few. There's even more on the team, but that's some of the people that were involved with this game. This one is the classic hot seat multiplayer only game, so you can't play simultaneously. You take turns to play the game. So after going through the more technical information, tell us what the game is. How does Williams explain their game to us? There it is. The joystick is a 49-way opto joystick. A very unique joystick. 3 X-axis, 3 Y-axis. 49 different directions. So it probably feels something very professional. It has cockpit stereo sound, true stereo, and Sinistar speaks. His speech is stored in ROM. It explains all the different controls, and then the game operations are right here. A random sound's produced when you put your credits in. You can play a 1 or 2 player game controlled by the joystick. The opto switches has increased number of vectors, each quadrant for precise aiming of your spaceship. It's almost like they're talking to the really professional video gamers right now. As the joystick moves further to the center position, it decelerates. So the farther you move the joystick, it actually is reading that position. Incredible. At least as far as joystick technology right now. So your intergalactic crystal mining mission takes you to the antipodes of the known universe, but your parametric deep space scanner faithfully displays the sector of the galaxy you presently occupy, including an area fully 3 parsecs across, no less. Keep the galaxy safe for all its citizens. Fiendish worker ships from the planet Sporg will attempt to fabricate a Sinistar from the remains of derelict planetoids in your very sector. You must not let them do this for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, the planetoid contains the life-sustaining crystals that your civilization requires for its vital technologies. That's right, Sinistar has lore. Did anyone know about that? And number 2, with the eminently unstable Sinistar in their possession, the Sprogites can lay waste to any civilization in your sector. You alone stand in their way. They're even misspelling it, which even makes it sound more cool. You have to mine the Sinistite crystals. Williams equipped you with the latest heuristic electric cannon technology. This is incredible. All you need to do is aim at a planetoid and shoot, and collect the mother lode. In fact, only with Sinistite can you manufacture Sinibombs to eradicate the Sinistar. Now, when I first played this game, I didn't think there was a way to destroy the Sinistar. I just thought you played the game, you shoot some stuff, and then you died, and it was inevitable. But no, you can. You can destroy them if you have enough Sinibombs. You can rebuff workers, disintegrate their even more aggressive comrades. Intelligent beings everywhere depend on your courage, your dedication, your reserve, your shrewd command of tactical invention. It's up to you, Space Cadet. And they keep a high score. So I love that there's lore. We have a prototype version and then different revisions. We're going to go to the arcade for the first time and play Sinistar by Williams Electronics in the beginning of December 1982. Bring on the sound. Ooh, Cinnabon, Brian? Yeah. Cinnabomb or Cinnabon? We get a little tune or some sound effect. I'm not sure exactly what that one is. Look at this. The high score table reminds me of Defender, a few of the games we've seen by Williams. Wow. And the attract mode tells us how to play. Blast crystals off the planetoid. Fill up the bomb bay with Cinnabombs. Firing doesn't affect the mighty Sinistar, only Cinnabombs. And Sinistar is a nemesis. One of the best video game nemesises ever that we've ever seen. Does it even show in the attract mode? I'd like to know. When Sinistar is built, you had better run. That's what I always tried to do. So fun fact, when I had first played Sinistar, it was around the same time. I played it a lot later, but when I had played Sinistar, the ski-free game was on MS-DOS at the same time. So I thought Sinistar was just like that Yeti that chases you in ski-free. There's no escaping. He just dies, and yep, you're just cool with it. Oh, wait, there it is. There's Sinistar being constructed, and you can destroy it with your bombs. It shows the pieces being blown away. Whenever you first went to the arcade, how many people were poor like me, where you would just watch the attract modes and see how much gameplay you could get by? And of course, you're looking around for coins, looking in the coin slot, seeing if someone left a credit in the system. So a lot of times I like to just check out the attract mode to remind me how I used to play the games, because not everybody had the coins. Usually you just went to see the cool tech, and this is one of those games, especially if you run across the cockpit. That's right. All right, let's put a coin in and get ready to be yelled at. I hunger. There he is. Oh, sound is so good. All right, so first thing to notice is the joystick. This game controls and feels so smooth. It is absolute control, which is similar to another game we played recently called Time Pilot. I'm not even firing any shots yet. As you move the joystick around, if I move up, the ship goes up. If I immediately pull back on the joystick, it just reverses down. Absolute control, very well done. I would say even tighter and smoother than Time Pilot, which was pretty good already. There's some other games we played that are like this, where you have absolute control, but not too many. Most of them, from this top-down perspective, have been relative control, kind of like Asteroids, but this doesn't feel like that or play like that. This also is fast. This is scrolling fast. There's a lot of action already. I haven't even fired my shot. So now if I hold down the power button or the fire button, it is turbo fire. You just hold that button down and then you watch everybody. You rain down bullets on enemies. The sound effects are really, really good. They're already forming and creating Sinistar. There he is. But what you're supposed to do, if you look at the top where my score is, it shows my number of ships I have left as well. You have a reserve where you're supposed to be blowing up these, if I can get a shot out. You're supposed to be blowing up the asteroids, collecting the Sinisite crystals. And then after you collect the crystals, you get enough to have a Cinabomb. And there it is up at the top left. You can see a little spot for it. Oh my gosh, yeah. Where I live. And right when Sinistar lives, I die. We can put our score in. What do you got to do? The Cinabomb? Or is it... Oh, nice. Okay, you just use left joystick. Classic. The font, is it the same font that it had for Joust? Because it looks pretty similar. And then the high score table has Cinemortals, and then those who have survived. Yeah, Brian, good point. It feels like better controls. It feels like higher definition controls than what we used to have. All right, let's go in again. We need to see him chase us. We call these video games multi-directional shooters. This marks the 160th multi-directional shooter we've seen across all systems. It's the 52nd multi-directional shooter that we've seen so far in the arcades. There's already a lot of games that are similar genre as this. Multi-directional shooters were born in the arcades. In 1971, the first two games we ever saw were multi-directional shooters, Galaxy Game and Computer Space. And then they've morphed and evolved and changed to different things, but they're essentially the same thing. Oh, we got lots of Cinnabons. Check that out in the top left. So we've been farming, get the Sinisite crystals, see if we can get the workers away. Does anyone know if you can prevent the workers from building the Sinistar, or is it inevitable? You have to have the Sinistar. Where is he, by the way? Can I do like the attract mode? All right, we're doing much better this time now that I'm not explaining the game. So we got a nice... Oh, but if you get blown up from the drones, yeah, he's almost assembled. Yikes. Already looking scary. But if you were going to compare this to some other games... Oh, here he comes. So check out the radar at the top. You got a mini-map. That's a really nice one. Very smooth mini-map. And there he is behind us. Let's blow some bombs up. He's now chasing. No! Oh my gosh.
Beware, I live.
And that also is what creeped me out, is seeing his lips sync to his talking, which is really rare to see in video games, to have the audio sync up to something. All right, we only have 3 left. I don't have enough to blow them up, though. Even with all those Cinnabons, I still had a game over. But we had a better run that time. God, freaky as hell. But so much fun. It also feels like a great challenge when you have an enemy that's this crazy difficult. So after the first multi-directional shooters we've seen on the show, then we've seen games like Asteroids that are in the arcade, Star Castle, Space Fury, Omega Race, Dark Planet is another more recent one. But it's classic top-down, but this one's more unique. It has the scrolling, where we're able to freely scroll all around in different directions, even with the minimap or radar. Some other games that do this that we've already seen have been Bosconian, Moon War, which was mostly horizontally scrolling, Strategy X, which was mostly vertically scrolling, and then Victory and Gravatar, but they were kind of on a side view. Time Pilot is the one that comes really close to this like game where you're freely able to move around. Time Pilot didn't have a radar, though. It had the radar like Bosconian did. All right, we need to mine. He's being built, and we're just messing around. We need more Cinnabons. Cinnabombs. Sinistar is going to come to scare the hell out of us. So look at the worker drones. That's another thing, too. This felt like it was a game that's sentient. This feels like this is a game that's thinking or knowing where we are. Like we have other enemies that are collecting pieces of... You have really precise controls. Oh, no, here he is. Bomb! Oh, my gosh.
Beware, I live.
The only other games with this genre that you can play at home right now are Bosconian on the Sword M5, Bosk 1 Alert that's on the TRS-80. Oh, he's coming again. I need to get more. No! Space Hawk, which is on the Intellivision. Snipes on MS-DOS. Bolo on the Apple II. Oh, don't use your fire. Your fire will not help you. How long can I avoid the Sinistar?
I hunger, coward.
Look, his mouth is moving. Yeah, he got us. There's also Star Maze on the Apple II, Satellite Patrol on the VIC-20, Astro Chase on the Atari Home Computer, Spider Invasion on the Atari Home Computer, and Survivor on the Atari Home Computer. So there's not a whole lot of games that are giving you this freely scrolling multi-directional shooter experience. I have no Cinnabombs. So at this point, you're just running for your life. Can I even farm while I'm being chased? Let's try it. Wow. It is so good. The sound is amazing. I would love to experience this in stereo. As it's coming through on the show, through the emulation, is it coming through in stereo? Or is it mono? Because the upright cabinet was mono audio. So this one has the classic arcade gaming loop. If you do destroy Sinistar, you go to another round and it continues to repeat, and you go for the high score. The optical joystick is the technology that really sets this apart. There is other games that are the not like Asteroids Absolute Control video games. Bosconian, Deep Six on the Puta, you could be playing right now. Solar Conqueror on the Bally Astrocade, Survivor and Astro Chase on the Atari Home Computer, Metamorphosis and Videomania on the Commodore VIC-20, and then Black Widow and the already mentioned Time Pilot. All those games, when you move up on the joystick, it goes up, and when you move down, it moves down. Because majority of the time, we play multi-directional shooters, and they have what we would call tank controls or relative controls when you turn left and right. But already amazing. That's a good point. Jeremiah's bringing up the difficulty. Some people that are watching the show or were playing and rating the games at this time, a lot of people rate the games lower based on difficulty. And I saw that with Defender. When we first saw Defender, there were some people that understood and respected Defender, but they were rating it low because it just was too difficult. It was just too hard. And I can understand you doing the same with Sinistar. It is crazy difficult. It doesn't allow you to have that mini-map and radar like we've seen with Defender and Bosconian. And the real question about, I would say, with this game is, what's the more evil video game? Of all the video games we've seen so far, Sinistar is pretty evil. It's scary how it's yelling at. It's not like a true horror video game, but it's pretty evil. Which is the more evil video game? Is it Sinistar? Is it Satan's Hollow? Is it Lucifer's Realm? Or maybe someone in the comments would have another game that they could play right now that's more evil than this game. Maybe because it's taking all of our quarters, it's the most evil. I mean, how many have we pumped in so far? We haven't got past the first phase or first level of Sinistar. You actually have to collect all the Sinisite crystals too. All these these tiny little pieces on the screen.
Beware, I live.
No, I don't have enough bombs. Quick, get more. Before he shows up, where is he? Oh gosh, here he is. Check your radar. You can see him coming. Alright, he's right behind me. How many do I have? Oh, he's actually dodging him. Yes! I've never done that. I've been playing and testing the game. I've done this so many times. This is awesome. So we go to the worker mode, prepare for battle. Oh, wow, this is awesome. I have never been able to get enough bombs or even survive past the fact. Gosh, that's so cool. Now, granted, whenever I played this in the arcades, I, was a little too young to care, or try to push past this. But whenever he started the game, whenever Sinistar, I talked about Sinistar like he's a celebrity. Whenever Sinistar started to gain popularity, I tried to play and win, and I was not able to finish that stage. This is the first time I have ever completed the first stage. Wow, that's so cool.
Run, coward.
Whoa, look how many workers are on this. So I believe as the levels increase, they have less. Look how many enemies are coming at you. Wow, and there's less Sinisite crystals to make bombs, because if you don't have the bombs, you can't blow them up. Yeah, that's a good point, Brad. Usually on the show, I keep everything default dip switch whenever we play arcade games, but every now and then, if I make adjustments or need to add lives or things like that, or modify it, I'll just let everybody know that I'm playing it on with dip switches adjusted to play farther. Wow, we're still going, but I have no more bombs.
Run, coward.
Oh my gosh. All right, well, I'm not gonna die to these guys. Sinistar has to eat me. And they're destroyed on the last life. How about that? So I already was a fan of Sinistar. I wasn't expecting to get that far here on the live show. I don't know. I'd say, if you want to talk about evil games, I say it's kind of a tie between Satan's Hollow and Sinistar, the most evil video game we've seen up to this point. And now, of all the games you could play in the arcade, right now, December 1982, what would you give Sinistar? You can't deny the technology. The newer joystick, the way that this feels, the responsiveness, the amount of information on the screen, what they're displaying. They have a character that's talking to us. That's, how do you even explain it? I have some 4 stars already thrown out in the chat. Jeremiah and Brian thrown out 4. James is saying one of the best games you could play in the arcades, 4.5 to 5. It's so good. In one regard, I could say 4 stars if you're on the fence that says it's too difficult. It's a very difficult arcade game, but this is still, it's a staple of the arcades because of having Sinistar yell at you across the arcades. It just wouldn't feel right to not have Sinistar in the arcade. There you go. 4.5 from Marshall and Brad. Steve's giving a 5-star. Very nice. Of all the games right now, this one is top tier. I have to call this one of the best games you could play in the arcades right now. Joust, I did give 5, and while this one does have a different difficulty curve, it's still one of the best. And there's a 4-star from M. Tiskey. All right, Sinistar. It holds an incredible place, and here on the show, I wouldn't say as high as 5. I'm going to go still 4.5 stars. One of the best games you could play in the arcades right now. It needs to be in your arcade. And there we go. Brian saying 4 the difficulty, but yet he could see it getting a 5-star as well. I won't go as high as saying 5 stars. Well, actually, maybe I can because we said Qbert and Miss Pac-Man and a few games because of their longevity, like how they've shaped the video game culture. Sinistar is one of those games, so I'm going to bump it. I'm going to go 5 because of how this has affected the video game culture and how you think about the arcades and what video games can do. Yeah, we'll go 5 stars. The best of the best that you can play in the arcades right now, especially with this kind of game. More impressive than something like Bosconian. All right, after that, what is our next game? We're next going to the United Kingdom to play on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum, and this is Snakes. Don't get too excited. After Sinistar, most things will be downhill from here. This is the 154th game we've seen on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. It's a type-in game, the 94th type-in game we've seen on Chronologically Gaming from this magazine, ZX Computing, the 6th game we've seen from this magazine. Not this one, this is the December issue. If you flip to the right page, you get here, Snakes Alive in Outer Space, among other games by Paul Toland. Way to go, Paul! This is the first time we've ever seen Paul Toland on the show. And tell us if there's any other famous developers that got their start with type-in games in magazines or in books, because I'd love to make sure we see the first game ever, like not even a commercial video game. But if you flip to the right part, they call it Reptile here. In this program, you try to grow your snake as long as possible by directing it to the pound signs, which it eats. However, the pounds remain on the screen for a short period of time, after which they turn into poisonous dollar signs. Sorry about that, Mr. Reagan. I don't know what that means. The snake will also die if it hits the surrounding border or itself, and then the game's over. That's a very horrific picture, too. Can anyone make that out? It's like a snake that's suffocating someone else. Freaky, with an example of the screenshot. All right, let's type it in play, Snakes. Whenever you typed it in, when you got the magazine in December 1982. I already kind of know what I'm expecting. Yeah, the program's called Reptile. You're directing a money snake around the screen using the keys 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that's the cursor keys on our ZX Spectrum keyboard. Make the snake grow by eating dollar signs, which it feeds. But just eat them fast enough or they won't turn into pound signs. You don't want them to turn into dollar signs. All right, so press Y to start the game. There's no options. You spent the time to type it in, and we'll have fun with it. So look down at your keyboard. All you're doing is the cursor keys. And yes, it's snake. Eat the pound signs, not the dollar signs, because we are in the United Kingdom. Oh, yeah, really simple. So this is the 30th time we played a snake video game on Chronologically Gaming. It's the 22nd Snake game we played on all home computers thus far, and it's the second time we played a Snake game for the ZX Spectrum after Mongoose, which I know this is a type-in game. I could be being hard on the game, but I mean, how do you mess up a Snake game? Mongoose is way better than this one. One of the very first games we ever played that was a Snake game was Hustle back in May 1977. And man, they've been changing, evolving, but it's just incredible that it's this old, because there's youngsters out there that think Snake games were first on cell phones. No, they're old. Snake and me go way back. We played Snake or Snake-like games. Uh-oh, there it is. It turned into a dollar sign. Oh man, then it loops back. It just tells you how long your snake was, and you get points for it. We played a game called Serpent and Hoser and Squirm on MS-DOS. We played Tangled on the Acorn Atom. We played The Thing on the Commodore VIC-20. Lumberjack on NASCOM. Viper on the Apple II. One of the more popular commercial Snake games is Snake Bite. And then the best of the best still right now that you could play on any home computer is Hustle, the port of the arcade game on the Texas Instruments home computer. The more recent Snake games, though, haven't really been just Snake games. They've been combining games together. Jungler, Serpentine, Nibbler, and Super Chomper are some of the other Snake games we've seen. But they're not just a Snake game. They have more to them. So if you're just now tuning into the show, this doesn't represent the technology of video games right now. It's just a fun type-in game. All right, so of all the games you can play across all home computers, yikes. I mean, you'd have a good time. If you spent the time to type it in, you would love it even more, like your own child. What would you give Snakes of all, or Reptile, of all the games you could play across all home computers? 2 stars, that's very, very kind. I don't know if I want to go as high as that because it's the old trope that if you go the wrong direction, you die, which is very, very unfair. I see a 2-star, which is still bad. I'm not really going to call the game broken, but it is low. I'm going to go 1.5 stars of all the games you could play across all home computers. And it's kind of not fair because it's a type-in game. All right, after that, what's our next game? Another home computer. This is the TRS-80, the original. Do you have the Model 1 or the Model 3 right now? We're going to play Sneak Thief. I am not familiar with Sneak Thief, and neither are you, because there's no artwork. There's no box. There's no manual. There's none of that stuff. We're just going to pop in Sneak Thief and Play by Larry Ashman, published by Soft Sector Marketing Incorporated in the beginning of December 1982. And I believe we just have to type Sneak. Let's play. This one's only available on the TRS-80, the original. It's the 164th game we've seen for this home computer, and it's the 6th time we've seen Soft Sector Marketing Incorporated, bringing us bangers like Vexus and Conflict, Rally, and Chicken. And it's the 2nd time we've seen Larry Ashman on the show. Way to go, Larry. Larry also did Caterpillar, based on another famous video game. No way, it's got a tutorial. Look at that. Kill the thief. Okay, got it. Kill the fugitive. You get more points. Kill the protector. You get, oh yeah, it's breaking down the point values, but it's showing us. And if you can capture the thief too. The game controls with joystick or keyboard. Already I'm intrigued. Do you see what is happening? What's going on? This is awesome. Yes, Brian, what you're referring to is something so long, we're never going to get there. It's so far in the future, I can't even fathom what you're talking about. That's right, Steve. That's right. That's exactly what it is. At least it's looking like from the tutorial. And it has a high score table for us. Oh, great. Bring the arcade home on home computers. All right, so if you do a 1 or 2 player game, it really doesn't matter. It's like the arcade. You're going to do hot seat multiplayer. So I'm just going to do a 1-player game. And then, check it out. The joystick works. Awesome. Okay, so the first idea that I want to bring up is the controls. Completely different than what we saw from Sinistar. It is relative control. So think of it more like Asteroid. So I'm moving the joystick right. I turn to the right. When I move the joystick forward, it goes, or I move the joystick up, it's going forward relative to where your player is. So it feels like I'm playing Tank or Asteroids or something like that. All right, so this is really, really interesting, though. Look at this. It's another multi-directional shooter. This is our 161st multi-directional shooter that we've seen on Chronologically Gaming. My firing range is also really short. Oh, nice sound effects, too. I can't fire all the way across the screen. It's the 85th multi-directional shooter we've seen on all home computers thus far. And it's the 8th that we've seen on the TRS-80 alone. Now, I should be able to just touch you, right? Wait, nope, if I can... All right, now once he gets to the center's where the gold is. So the thieves are trying to sneak in, grab the gold, but if you can touch... I can just... Oh, the protector got me. The ones that fly around like stars. Interesting, there's inertia too to the way I move. Like I'm expecting myself to be a human. I'm supposed to be like a cop that's protecting or making sure they don't steal the gold away. I'm already intrigued just because we haven't played a game like this at home. Some of the other multi-directional shooters that you could be playing on the TRS-80 right now have been games like Supernova, which is kind of like Asteroids, Robot Attack, which is kind of like Berserk, Fury, Space Castle, which is kind of like Star Castle, Amoeba Attack Wars. No, come back. Oh, I got him. Bounceoids, which is kind of like Asteroids, and Bosk 1 Alert, which is kind of like Bosconia. This one has the classic arcade gaming loop. Get the high score, and it feels like I'm playing an arcade game. Wow. And the control is really interesting, especially going from Sinistar to this. It's strange because I'm supposed to be a person that's running around. Like, think of it if they made Berserk feel like you were in control of something really fast, like a vehicle. That's what it feels like. When they could have slowed it down, they could have made it smoother. But I'm just impressed still that I'm able to plug my joystick in and play on the TRS-80 without using just keyboard. All right, let me see if we can capture. Nice and easy. There we go. And if you capture them, if you look down the bottom left, they start to stockpile up. Capture, yep, keep going. Looking good. And then whenever you capture enough for the first level, then you get bonus points for everybody that you've captured over there in the brig. Oh, wait, here we go. Okay, I'm getting the hang of the controls. Feels great and really fun to play. So even on this computer alone, the rest of the games that are multi-directional shooters are usually based on something else. Fury was its own thing, which is really, really nice and refreshing. And there we go, got it. Move on to the next phase and just keep going until you get the high score. Fury was kind of doing its own thing, and Amoeba Attack Wars did something a little interesting and new. But this one is the very first time we've ever played any video game that is a variant of Ripoff. We've seen Ripoff in the arcades, and we just saw it on the Vectrex. I even commented, we've never seen anybody try to copy or clone Ripoff. So here it is. This is the copy or clone of Ripoff. And it's giving you a different option. You don't have to just shoot. You can actually tag or capture the other thieves that are trying to steal the gold in the center. And you have someone coming after you that you do have to shoot. You can't touch. Very nice. So the first variant or clone of Ripoff that we've ever seen on Chronologically Gaming. This is very well done. Very fun, especially for a game on a home computer. It has that theme of law enforcement, crime, and joystick control. I mean, there's a lot to love here. I would say if this game was done with a little bit more polish, maybe. But you can see they even started the front screen very well done. They have elements that can make me feel like this is a pretty average game for all the games you could play on all home computers thus far. But because it's unique, that we really don't have a lot of games playing like Ripoff, and that this is the controls and the gameplay is very good. I wouldn't say it's just average. Sneak Thief is special. Why have we not found anything on this? And can anyone attest to the release dates? Is there any other games that are rip-off that we maybe we'll check out on the backlog? So over in the chat, I see most people, I got some 3.5 stars from Jeremiah, James, and Brad, and then Steve saying average 3 stars, Brian 3, and M. Tiskey 3.5. Of all the games you could play across all home computers, the way this is presented, you know, all black and white and the high score table arcade at home, you could say average. But because we don't have any other games that are rip-off, I'm going to say 3.5 stars. It's an above average video game. Oh, and Marshall's throwing off 4. Very nice. I could kind of go 4, but I won't go as high just because we've seen other multi-directional shooters and video games that are even better than this across all home computers. All right, that's where we got to put our video game playing on pause. Thanks again, everyone that's here live in 1982, December 1982, checking out the brand new video games releases. Maybe you bought them, maybe you typed them in. We're going to see and play everything. I also want to give a big shout out to everyone that's on our Patreon, supporting us on the show and keeping us going. Next time on Chronologically Gaming, soccer on the Arcadia 2001 home console. Does this one play with the joystick or the number pad? The soft side adventure of the month. And do not stare directly at your Vectrex for longer than 30 minutes. That's it for today, and like I always say, I am Chronologically Gaming. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and be a Chronologically Gaming influencer, rating the games as we play them. This video wouldn't be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and Main. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every video game. We have links down below that give more information on the games we played this episode, as well as our Discord and Patreon. There's a link called All the Games We Have Played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.